Oh my god, what am I doing? Hi everybody, good morning. My name is Desi-Rae. Welcome to my channel, Just Thinking Out Loud. This is an open letter to governments of multi-ethnic societies. I have a wonderful friend who attends a university with different groups of young persons living together. She was elected into a position of authority to serve and lead members within her community, some of whom did not necessarily share her cultural background. She was very pleased that she had been elected. It was something that she had worked hard towards and wanted to put her best foot forward in doing. She showed some mild surprise that she had been selected because she was a minority in the community and her main competitor had been a part of the majority group. I wasn't surprised because she's very personable and I had seen her going around campaigning, on foot, talking to people, and she had been effectively marketing herself. So when she found out that she had won, she ran around the room and was screaming her excitement, displaying herself all over the couch and just like very giddy and happy and jumping for joy, taking Snapchat photos of me without my permission. Then she expressed to me that she felt some inclination towards helping out the group that she identified with. In particular, as oftentimes she felt as though she had been excluded, not on purpose, but simply due to the fact that she was not a part of the dominant culture and she wasn't seeing herself represented. I said to her, not in these exact words, and not that she didn't already know, but as a reminder that she was elected to serve the student body, not the part of the student body that she identified with. If she tried to pick up for a certain group, it would mean that some persons might feel excluded. I pointed out that she would not like that if she were in their place, and she would be in essence doing a dishonor to her role and to anyone feeling excluded just for the fact that they had elected her at all. I bring this personal situation up because I completely understand how easy it is to sympathize with a group that one identifies with, both for perceived and real wrongdoings. Every time I hear certain groups complaining or certain members of that group complaining, sometimes it's amazing to me how similar the rhetoric sounds. They hate being prejudiced against for things they can't control or things they have not done. The thing is, all these claims could be true, except it is much easier to see this when it is being done to you or those that you care about, rather than when it is being done to someone else. I tried to look into research done on this on a personal level. It may actually be going against our biological drives to not want to pick up for the group that we do identify with. I think that is something that we need to be aware of when considering persons in positions of power. We are not just biological creatures, and no matter how much we argue about how to get there, I think we want to live in a peaceful society where there is little conflict. When in a position of power, that means you can't just pick up for specific groups, no matter how enticing it is as an individual of that group. When it comes to competing for resources, one resource in particular, which persons grab after like diamond in a coal mine, is the power of the government. Intertribal conflict is something that is so common and has been going on for a long time, and the last way to end it is to try and use the government to play the mediator for certain groups and decide who has been wronged and who has not been wronged, because that's not the role of the government. It's not to pick up for a specific group. It's just to make sure that the law is applied equally to all. Well, specific groups have been treated badly in the past. I don't think that there should be positive discrimination to make up for past hurt. Why? Because you are sowing resentment and making the argument that the ends justify the means. There should simply be no discrimination, or that should be the goal that one is aiming for. That means that people in power cannot put the agenda of one group above others, because it is alienating other people, showing bias, and it's probably just going to result in backlash. And another thing that I keep bringing up is the morality of the issue. We know how easy it is to stroke one's ego, to tell one person how wonderful they are and how bad another person is. And I think the same thing happens on the group level. That's why I think that what is going on in the world is not just an intellectual battle, but also a moral one. It is appealing to the vanity and the ego of specific groups in society. You are good, your enemies are bad, let me solve all your problems. You don't have to figure out how to solve it, so you don't even have to face the consequences of decisions that you make. And the position that a person is in may actually be because of their own decision making and not that of other people and what other people have done to them. It is also a double-edged sword to pick up for certain groups. If you want to create a society where people don't see color or perhaps ethnicity or basically get along even in spite of those differences that they do see, because I think it's okay to see those things, then you have to stop pitting groups against each other. even when trying to help. Here, you are teaching one group to see the other as a competitor competing for government benefits. I made a video on race and IQ, and one of the commenters said, and I agreed, that the only reason these topics become relevant is because groups are focused on externalizing their problems and on pressuring society to right past wrongs. They are forcing society to look at them as groups and not as individuals. You're starting to look at differences, and if you're trying to do that for the good reason, then it's also going to come up for every other reason that exists. And this leads to a question that a lot of people are asking these days: is multiculturalism possible? I think so, if everybody plays by the same rules. But I don't know if people would actually want to do that, to not want to have power over other groups and to see their group rise above. People who talk about having an ethno-state, I don't really think it will solve the problems. I think that there will be just as much conflict over time, because ethnicity is very specific, and a lot of people who are coming together now, they don't actually have the same ethnicity, in my opinion. So to me, this goes beyond a racial or ethnic issue, because it will just be the same sort of group identity, even if not along those lines, trying to control who gets the benefits that the government has to give. It is dangerous to press this lever of "I will help you solve your problems" and be sympathetic to all the wrongdoings that have been done to you. If the ends justify the means, then any means can be justified. In the past, this has resulted in Nazism. I also hear that there is something going on right now in South Africa. Another thing I want to point out that I see going on all the time is you cannot expect persons to have sympathy for your hurts if you're not willing to listen to theirs. It's communication 101. I know a lot of people feel like, oh, my group has been wrong, blah, blah, blah. This person can't talk. That's ridiculous. If you want someone to listen to you, you have to listen to them also, and you have to take into consideration their sides and their feelings. It is just as valid as yours, no matter how justified you may feel. I think that all people are capable of good and evil, and I understand how easy it is to see the good in yourself and to see the evil in others. I think we all do this, and it's also just easier to see the flaws in other people than to see it in yourself. But this is why the same standard has to apply to everybody. You have to understand that it is not as easy to see what is going on with you than it is to see with other people. And it will just be a never-ending tumble of warring and fighting. And even when there has been peace, people can stir up resentment. And that's what I see going on right now, and has been going on apparently. It's just stirring. Let me tell you, I don't want none of that soup. It don't sound like it's going to taste good. I don't want it. In some ways, I think my video might be idealistic or even futile, because I pointed out this is human nature and has been happening for a long time. People do not know how to think beyond their own self-interest, or need to have some sort of guiding principle that I would not expect to be present at a higher percentage in those in positions of power. Historically, it does show the creation of ethnic conflict by those in power, particularly against successful groups. I recognize that I cannot change anybody but myself, but I hope my ideas make sense. Let me know what you think in the comments. Thank you for watching. Let me know what you think. Have a very cool day in these hot, heated summer days. I couldn't find another word for days in my head. Bye. The biggest thing oppressing me today is the heat outside.